So you can able to see my screen, right? Today will be the Docker day 2, and without wasting our time, let's start. So as I said, you need to create an account in AWS. Whenever you create an account in AWS, you will see this dashboard. So just go to services and click on EC2. So EC2 is a service provided by AWS, nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 full form will be Elastic Compute Cloud. Using this Elastic Compute Cloud, you can able to create any server in AWS. So just let's go back to 20 years back. I hope in the childhood you have like taken cycle for rent. Yes or no? In the childhood we used to take a rented cycle, and we used to right play with that cycle for 1 hour. Then after we used to pay an amount for that particular cycle. Right? In the same way, rather than purchasing a physical server and installing operating system, all these things, this is the hectic task. So now what companies are telling, like AWS, Azure and Google Cloud, they are telling you don't take any physical hardware. Okay, I will give you a virtual machine, nothing but it's I will give you a server. You just use that server. For using that server, pay me an amount. Nothing but he is giving server for rent. For whatever the usage, you need to pay an amount. That's it. So comparing to investment, a huge hell lot of lakhs, investing hundreds and thousands will be easy, right? So that's the reason people are companies or startups, that too small companies, are shifting to clouds because they cannot able to invest a lot of money on these physical servers, maintaining that physical servers, right? Maintaining the data centers. So companies already, big companies like Amazon, that is AWS, right? Microsoft, that is Azure, Google, they already have a big data centers. They have already set up all the infra, right? They will be having an extra resources. So rather than wasting resources, they are just providing it for a rent. They are creating a website. In that website, they are providing it for a rent. So like that we will create. So if you don't know how to create an EC2 instance, if you don't know what is Linux, you just go to the YouTube. Okay, YouTube search, go and search for DevOps easy. Okay, you will get my channel which have 2000 plus subscribers. Go to playlist. Okay, there will be Linux tutorial. Click on view full playlist, go through one by one. So if you see how to create an EC2 instance in AWS, if you go through this video, if it is 20 minutes, I have clearly explained step by step what is an EC2 instance, how to create a server. Okay, go through all videos. So if you don't know Linux, this was all explained by me. Okay, there are some more videos I need to update. I'm not getting time, but definitely I will try to complete this Linux. Okay, there are a few more. I think nearly like five more videos are pending, but I will try to complete. If you don't know Linux, if you are new for Linux, please go through this playlist. Okay, along with the DevOps classes, you need to go through this playlist, and in future I will update the shell scripting as well. Okay, because any scripting or Linux is mandatory to get a job in DevOps. So I will update it. If I don't update, just ping me in WhatsApp. If you are interested, let's see. So try to complete this whole playlist. For next class, if you want, ping me in WhatsApp. I will try to update it. You don't need to worry. But if I don't update, right, you can ping me. Let's see who will. So if you don't know Linux, go through this playlist. If you know Linux, super. No need to go through this. Okay, now let me try to create an EC2 instance. So before creating an EC2 instance, let's go back to our class. Let's discuss some class, then I will come back to this EC2 instance. Okay, I will open this day 2. Okay, we don't have any time. Let us go little bit fast. Overview of upcoming slides. Okay, if you see, whenever yesterday we have executed, right, docker image ls. So whenever you execute, you will get repository tag image id when it is created, size. So if you see, repository is nothing but image name. Okay, hello world, this is the image name. So tag nothing but this is the image version. So for every image you will be having a id, that is called image id. So here image is equal to application. Okay, now let me go to next slide. So overview of upcoming slide, nothing but today you will see the difference between this virtual machine and container. I will show you the difference. Okay, what I will do, first I will create a virtual machine using a Amazon EC2 service. I will execute some commands in this virtual machine. Then I will create a container, okay, in this same virtual machine. Okay, I will log in into a container. I will execute the same commands inside the container as well. Like that, we will get the comparison between these two. Okay, I will show practically. Don't worry. So Docker image and tag. Any Docker image represents some application, right? Every application will have multiple versions, obviously, right? Any Docker image represents some application. Okay, I told you, right? In the olden days, we used to purchase a CD from a CD shop. Okay, inside that CD, we will be having our favorite movies, right? We will take that CDs, we will insert into a DVD player. Like that, we used to watch our favorite movies 20 years back. So in that CD, you will be having your favorite movie. Movie is the important, right? In the same way here, Docker image also plays a crucial role. In the Docker image only, your application will be there. Okay, container is just a dummy player. Okay, but everything will be present in this Docker image. Today I will show you how to create a basic Docker image as well. Not depending upon the, right, we will create our own Docker image. Okay, nothing but our own CD. In Docker, to represent application, we use a name of image, and to represent version we use tag. Okay, this is the image name colon tag. If the tag is not passed, Docker assumes the tag to be latest. Yesterday we have executed Docker container run hello world, right? Then after I didn't mention any tag. If you don't given tag, it will automatically take the tag as latest. Okay, I will show you practically, don't worry. So along with repository, that is image name and tag, we will also have an image ID which I already shown. Okay, if you see Docker image ls, if you don't give the tag, it will automatically take latest tag. So whenever you pass any image, if you have a version, you need to give the colon, okay, version. If you don't pass any version while executing Docker container run, then by default it will assumes the tag will be latest and it will take that latest tag. So container options, what you can do using container, you can create a container, you can delete a container, you can start the container, you can stop the container, you can pause the container, you can unpause the container. So right, these many things you can able to do. So for every container created, you will get a container ID and container name, same like image. So we can set our own container name as well. For that, while running the command docker container run, you need to give an extra minus minus name, container name, and image name. If you don't pass colon tag, it will take the latest tag, right? So to see container running in docker host, what is the command? If you execute docker container ls, you will see the list of containers running. to see the status of all containers created by Docker host, nothing but which are not deleted, then you can execute docker container ls minus c all, nothing but you will see the paused container as well, stopped container as well, everything using this docker containers ls minus all. If you execute docker container ls, only running container will be visible. If you want to see the paused and stopped all containers, you can execute docker container ls minus all. Okay, when the container is created, each container gets its own IP address, RAM, file system, CPU share. Okay, same whatever virtual machine you will get, same thing it will get. Okay, if you execute docker stats, you will get the CPU and RAM utilization. Exploring container on the local server, nothing but wherever you are installed docker, execute the following command. Okay, to list all the process, this is ps is the command to see the process. To see the ip address ipadr is the command. To see the username, who am I is the command. To see the host name, right, you can directly execute host name. df-h to see the storage. Then create a container, right, and log into that container and execute the same commands. Now first let's try to create a virtual machine in the cloud. So to create a virtual machines, go to the EC2 console, click on instances. Am I audible, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I will click on launch instance. Okay, you will get multiple options. I told you, right? AWS is providing a servers for rent. So he is providing Amazon Linux. Nothing but what he has done, he has taken a Red Hat, he has edited that operating system and he has created his own. So one more thing, Linux is an operating system which was an open source operating system created by Linus Torvalds. He is a creator of this Linux operating system. So now in Linux you can see multiple flavors. So I hope you have right heat. You have like I think you like your favorite is ice cream. Yes, everyone's favorite is ice cream. So in the ice cream you will be having flavors or not? Obviously there is a butterscotch, right? Vanilla, strawberry, right? What they are telling, they are just they will add some chemicals and all whatever it may be. They will just name it, right? In the same way, Linux kernel is also created by Linus Torvald. What he has did, he has kept this Linux code open source for everyone. So then some companies what they have done, they have taken that code, they have edited that code, okay, they have released their own version of operating system. Okay, so like this Ubuntu is one type of Linux operating system. Red Hat is one type of Linux operating system, nothing but a flavor. How in the ice cream you will be having different flavors. Companies are edited this Linux kernel, nothing but a code written by Linus Torvald, and whatever the code they have written their own code and they have converted it into a their own operating system. Okay, you know about Windows. Obviously, we are using Windows from long time. But Windows is a paid. That's the reason people will go to Linux because Linux is an open source, free. But Windows is a paid, and Linux is very secure compared to Windows. No one can able to hack Linux because Linus Torvald has created this Linux carefully. He just fed up with this Windows and remaining operating system. So that's the reason he has created his own operating system. Okay. Now, one more thing, even Android was written in Linux. Whatever the Android mobiles you are using, right? That you you didn't see any news, right? Android mobile got hacked because Android is written in Linux. No one can able to hack a Android mobile. Okay, I told you, right? You will choose an image. Okay, I will choose Ubuntu 22 version. Okay, it will just throw a message. Just click confirm changes. So in the Ubuntu also, you will be having different versions. So it will ask for instance type. Okay, T3 micro. Nothing but free trial eligible. If you want to create T3 micro, you will get two CPUs and 1 GB of RAM. Nothing but you are creating indirectly you are purchasing a laptop itself from online. So it is not physically visible. That's the reason it is called virtual machine. Okay, why we'll call it as virtual machine? Because it is visible virtually. The physical hardware will be under the control of AWS. You cannot able to see that physical. Okay, if you want to create a T2 medium, right, which you will get two CPUs and 4 GB of RAM. For this you need to pay an amount. What is the amount? Price 0.0448 USD per hour. Per hour you need to pay this much of amount. You can Google this 0.0448 USD. 0.0448 USD to INR. Nothing but which is equal to 4 rupees. Okay, if I selected T3 medium, okay, if I created the VM right away, I need to pay an amount of 4 rupees per hour. Okay, in future, whenever we working on Docker for high-end servers, I will take T3 medium. At that time, you need to pay an amount of 4 rupees. So hardly you will get 100 to 200 rupees per month AWS billing. I hope you can able to invest that amount, because if you practice more, right, if you perform well in the interview, obviously you will get a lakhs of packages. So in front there will be a, you are going to get a lakhs of packages. For that you should invest thousands of rupees is nothing. Okay, some people will just avoid practicing for this 100 and to 500 rupees. You, it's a just biryani, right? If you sacrifice one biryani for 1 month, you will be able to practice. Okay, you will get a key pair. So in AWS, whenever you create any login in AWS, like in Windows, you will be given the password, right? Whenever you enter, whenever you start the operating system, it will ask for a password. Here, Linux in AWS, they will use key. They will not use username and password. I will create a new key pair. Okay, and the key pair will be in the PEM format. Key pair name. My key pair name will be Docker. Okay, you can give any name. For now I will give Docker. Just click on create key pair, right? If you don't have a key pair, create a key pair. If you already have a key pair, you can choose that particular key pair. I will choose this Docker, right? And for this VM also you will be having network. Okay, security. How for apartments you will be having security guard, same like for servers also, who can able to log in into that server, that type of permissions will be applied. Okay, let me create a new security group. Okay, allow SSH traffic from anywhere. Okay, now I will just edit this. Okay, security group name will be, I will you give security group name as all traffic. Okay, security group description, allowing all ports for daily classes. Okay, because it's a practice. So add a security rule, type all traffic anywhere okay. I will give nothing but 000, nothing but any IP address. Okay, 000, nothing but any IP address can able to log in into my virtual machine. That's the meaning. As it is, as we are doing practice, it's okay. I will allow for all. But in real companies, you will just allow what are the IP addresses needed. Okay, I will just go to instances. It will take some time to create a okay. Okay, it's created. It's very fast. Super. Let me give you a name. Okay, I will give you a name as Docker. Okay, so you know the company, right? There are MNC companies. MNC companies have only one branch or multiple branches? Multiple branches. How many cities? All over India. So in the same way, AWS is also have data centers in multiple locations. So if you see right now I am in the Hyderabad. I have chosen Hyderabad data center. Okay, like that it is called it as a region. Okay, AWS have multiple regions. Okay, right now I have chosen Hyderabad as my region. If you are not getting Hyderabad, you can choose Mumbai. Okay, Hyderabad is very nearer to me, so I have chosen Hyderabad. So whatever the location is nearer for you, you choose that specific region. Okay, now I will log in into this server. So in Windows, if you want to log in using sh command, that command will not work because Windows is not supporting. For older version, I'm telling. For newer version, it's supporting. For older version of Windows, it is not supporting. So if you want to connect, right, go to sh client, copy this command, okay, and if if you don't know, like try to download a git download, you will get a website. From there download a git. I have already downloaded the git. Okay, you need to go to downloads folder first. Let me close this. Okay, downloads. Here my docker pem file will be downloaded. Okay, there is demo pem. Okay, docker pem. Let me see the properties. Today only, right, we have downloaded, right, June 8. What I will do, I will copy this pem file, right, using this key only, pem file key only, I will log in. Let me paste here in my docker folder. Okay, if you see docker.pem file, now I will here right click here. So you to go to the folder where your pem file is located and just click git bash here. Okay, then I am inside this docker folder. Okay, don't come to me and tell my sh command is not working. You need to go to the folder and whatever the command you have copied from this, copy this execute command. You will log in into this server. It will ask for yes or no. Just click give yes. Right now you are inside a Linux operating system which is Ubuntu. Okay, you can see Ubuntu at the rate IP address. Now I want to install a Docker in this virtual machine, nothing but in this newly created laptop in the online. Okay, I've created this laptop on the online. I have login inside that laptop. But in Windows, you will be having a graphical interface, nothing but like this UI. But in Linux, everything will be a terminal. Okay, nothing but commands. You need to communicate using commands itself. That's the reason Linux commands is very important for DevOps. Now I don't know how to install Docker. I will just Google it. Docker install. Your focus should not be installation. Okay, in the companies already everything was set up. You will work directly on Docker. So don't focus on installation. Focus on learning Docker. Don't waste your time in installation. If you waste your time in installation, when you will learn? Okay, curl is a command to download any file from internet. Okay, curl is a Linux command to download a any file from any URL. Okay, what I am doing here, curl minus f, nothing but file, that too using SSL, nothing but secure from this URL. Okay, -o, nothing but output, create a new file called as install docker.sh. So from this URL, download a file and give a name as install docker.sh. I will just enter ls minus lr th, nothing but list the files. That's it. Enter. Okay, you can see my file was there. I will just enter run this file. Okay, sh is a command which is shell script. To run the shell script, sh install docker.sh. So that's it. This script will install a docker. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, once the docker was installed, don't worry, I will show installation again in Monday as well. From Monday as well. Don't expect a theory. Okay, everything will be practical. If you want theory, you can Google it and you can learn. But practical, no one will show, and you will not get anywhere. You learn practical. Okay. If you have any doubts, feel free to ping me in WhatsApp. I will be available to help you. As you are investing your time, your money, you need to learn. Okay, treat me as your friend. You can ping me anytime. You can ask your doubt. Some people will have fear. You need to remove that fear. Right? You are not joined in the institute. In the institute, you will be not having a chance to ask a doubt. But here, it's a total interactive session. Okay, Docker was installed. Okay, as I told you yesterday, right? Whenever you install Docker, what are the two components you will get? Docker client and Docker daemon. Yes, if you see, whenever I execute Docker info, I'm getting Docker client. Server, nothing but which is a daemon, permission denied. Because Ubuntu user will not have any permissions to execute a Docker commands. That's the reason we got an error. So how to resolve this error? So whenever you get an error, right, don't get fear. Copy this same error, go to Google, paste and search. Okay, sometimes you will get this. No issues. Remove server from here. Okay, remove some part. Okay, Docker got permission denied while trying to connect. Open link in new tab. So if you see sudo usermod -a capital G Docker Jenkins. So this by this command you will your problem will be resolved. right? Like this people will help in the internet. There are huge hell lot of company will help you whenever you stuck in between. Okay, you should not worry, you need to know how to Google it. Okay, now what I will do, in the place of Jenkins I will use Ubuntu because my username was Ubuntu, right? My user is Ubuntu. I will explain about this command, don't worry. So sudo nothing but using superpower user mod, nothing but modify the user. Which user? Ubuntu user. I am telling that hyphen a nothing but add to the capital G nothing but group docker. So I am adding Ubuntu user to the docker group so that Ubuntu user will have all permissions to execute docker commands. Enter. Okay, I will now execute docker info. Still I will get an error because whenever you apply anything it will not applied immediately. You need to first exit out of the server, try to re-log in, then that like whatever you have applied it will be. Now I will execute docker info. Now it's working, right? Now you got it, right? Daemon, client, both are working. Super. Now I told you, right, in my virtual machine where my docker was installed I will execute some Linux commands. Yes or no? Df minus h to see the disk utilization, ps to see the processes. Okay, and one more thing, what I said, what are the commands? Who am I, host name. Okay, these are the few commands I've executed. Shall we execute same commands in one of the container? I will log in inside that container, I will execute the same commands. Okay, docker container run minus it, nothing but interactive mode, nothing but try to create a container and log in inside that container. That's the meaning minus it. Okay, docker container run minus it Ubuntu. Okay, the nothing but image name. Okay, okay, you can use Ubuntu or you can use Alpine. Alpine is a thin, very thin image. Let me use as per my image, as per my slide itself, because you will confuse, because you will follow my class notes, right? Alpine. Alpine in Linux, I told you, right? Everywhere you will work with terminal. That's the reason you need to give the which terminal you want to log in. Okay, I want to use a shell terminal inside to log in. Okay, Alpine is the image name. Okay, using that image it will create a container and it will log in inside that container. So unable to find image Alpine. If you don't use the tag, I told you, right, by default it will take the tag as latest. If you need to pass the tag, if you don't pass the tag it will take latest tag. It's okay for me, I'm not focusing on the tag right now. That's the reason I given just Alpine. Unable to find image, it is pulling from library, nothing but it will go to the Docker Hub, it will download. Pull completed, it has created a container and it is inside the container, right? Hash slash, nothing but I'm inside the container. Same command shall we execute inside the container, df hyphen h, right? Same output I got it, right? Nothing but same. Let me test with another command, ps. Same, whatever the basic VM getting, container is also getting the same features. Who am I? Root user. Here this is the Ubuntu user. Host name. Okay. Now you got some. I will exit out of this server. Nothing but container. So container is same like virtual machine itself. So what are the virtual machines you are getting? Container will also get the same features. And container is a lightweight compared to virtual machines. Virtual machine will have whole operating system. Container will have a minimal OS. And container will directly created on the Linux kernel, on the top of Linux kernel. Okay, what is this container? Ignore. So what container will get, what a VM will get, what are the features VM will get, same features will get a line container. Okay, now yesterday you have learned what is this Docker, how Docker helping us to resolve the problem. Now you know at least got some idea. Inside the container you have executed some commands. So container is nothing but a virtual machine itself. Okay, how this container is creating? Now you have created a container, you are logging inside that container. But in the backend, how it is possible? In the same operating system, you are creating a simple container and you are logging into that same one magic box. How is this possible? How it Docker is creating in the backend? What is this container? How container is creating? How the container will getting an IP addresses? How this container is getting a disk uses? Right? How container getting storage? All things you want to know or not? Yes or no? Obviously you want to know it, right? We will learn that. Okay, now let's go back to the slide. Let me go back. I have executed all these commands, it's working, and login inside that container. I have executed the commands, same commands. So based on all observation, a container looks like a Linux machine, right? Inside a Linux machine, that is virtual machine. So nothing but virtual machine is equal to container, both are same. Yes, Docker image contains all necessary files to run whatever application we want inside a container. I told you, right? Docker image contains all the necessary files to run whatever application. So Docker image, so container shipment in real world. So now let's discuss about this container. What is this container? Real world, nothing but like, for suppose if I want to ship my bike from one country to another country, what I will do? I will keep that bike or car inside a container, right? This is a container is nothing but one box which will protect my vehicle. Okay, then what I will do? I will take this container and I will ship it to the multiple countries using a ship. If you see in this ship, there are multiple containers. Some lakhs of containers will be there. Every day some lakhs of containers from India to other countries, right? Shipping will going to done. So why only choosing ship? Because you can able to ship multiple, right, multiple products or multiple things from one country to other country using ship easily compared to aeroplane cannot able to lift a heavy loads, right? So that's the reason people will prefer this shipping. So overview of upcoming slide. Now next task. Now what I will do? I will create a container. Okay. From that container, inside that container, I will execute some commands. I will install some software. From this container, I will create an image, my own image. Okay. I will create a Docker container. Using that container, I will create a Docker image. This is the not a good approach. Okay, this is the real-time approach. As a DevOps engineer, your job was to write a Docker file. Right, from Docker file, you will create your own Docker image. From that created Docker image, you will create a Docker container. This is the excellent approach. This is the real-time approach. But we should know the basic things. So you should not start directly from Docker file. So let me create one basic container. From this container, in the interview also, they will ask you directly, I have a running container. I want to convert that container into an image. how you will do that thing I will show right now. So from running container also you can create a image, but this is not a good approach. From a docker file you will create a image, from that image you will create a container, but from a running container if you want to create a image, is it possible? Yes, it's possible. Let me go to next slide. Now before discussing this, let's discuss how this container is creating. Okay, how are isolations? Nothing but container is nothing but a ICU. Okay, created, and resource limits are applied. Isolations on the Linux machines are created using a Linux kernel feature called namespace. So by default in Linux operating system, whenever Linux store created this Linux, right? By default a feature was available called as namespace. No one was identified that. Okay, while Docker company is working, they have identified this namespace. Using this namespace only, these isolations can able to created. Nothing but a container is able to create using a Linux kernel feature called as namespace. This separate box, a magic box, which we will call it as a container, can able to create. So once the container is creating, that container will getting right the resources. What resources? Storage, network, everything. How it is getting? Resource limits are applied using a kernel feature called as control groups. Okay, using these control groups, this container will get an IP address, storage, everything. Okay, using a Linux kernel feature called as namespace, it is creating a container. Using a Linux kernel feature called as control groups, okay, these isolations, you can create multiple containers. There is no limit in the operating system. In your Linux system, you can create multiple containers. For every container, getting the resources using a control groups, right? Using a namespace you can create a container, which is a Linux feature. So working on namespace and control groups are very difficult, but here comes the Docker to the rescue. If you create a basic simple container, you need to write some thousands of code. Okay, if you want to create manually any container, so that's the reason I told you right here. But here comes the Docker to the rescue. Docker engine makes it easy to create isolated areas and resource limits. So Docker was telling, okay, by default if you want to create any container, it is very difficult process. You don't worry, you just install my Docker software, execute some Docker command. In the backend it's my responsibility to create a container. So we are just executing some basic commands. Docker is creating a container for us. Docker is applying resources for us. But in the backend, Docker will be depend on the Linux feature called as namespace. Using Docker Linux feature called as namespace, it is creating a container. Okay, now you got it right. How container is creating in the backend? Using a namespace. But container will get a resources, right? How resources getting? Using a control groups. You no need to know, right, in depth tech like but you need to, you will have some idea. Okay, every Docker container has a command that gets executed when the container is created or started. Okay, whenever this container started, a command will be executed. What is this, that command? Ignore, we will learn. As long as the command is running, the container will be in running state. If that command has finished execution, container will be stopped or exited. So container life cycle depends upon the command. As long as that command running, container will keep on running. If the command is finished execution, container will stop or exited. So basically remember for today, Docker lifespan depends on the command. Sorry, not Docker, it's a container lifespan. So as the command is running, your container will be in running state itself. If the command is stopped execution, container will be stopped or it will be executed. Let's create a Docker image manually installing softwares inside the container. Let's install a Nginx in some container and create an image out of it. Let's create a container in an interactive mode. I told you, right, I will create a container and I will log in inside that container. I will install some software. Okay, now if you see, this is the command docker container run, right, -p. I will log in inside that container. I will take a image name and bin bash. So port nothing but -p is nothing but port, nothing but Nginx port, on which port it is running. Okay, I will log in inside that. Okay, now let's create a docker image from running container. So if you want to create an image, you need to execute a command called as docker commit container name or container ID. Then image will be created. Okay. Now let me do it practically. Discord. Okay. So if you don't use terminal, it will automatically log out. I will log in into that Ubuntu Linux. Okay. Docker container run -it, nothing but login inside the container. That's it, right? Let me check the command. Okay, you can give the port number as well. Let me give the port number. Nothing but on which port my application is running. You need to give the host port and the container port. What is this host port container port, we will learn. Ignore. Today's focus was to create a image from container. That's it. What is this host port container port, we will learn. What is this interactive mode, we will learn. You no need to worry. Image name Ubuntu 22.04/bin/bash. Right, my command was correct, right? Let me check. If I do the mistake, our time will be wasted. Okay, that's it. I will log in. I will simply install some softwares. So if you see, pulling from library, if you see, I given the tag, right, Ubuntu. If I don't give the tag, by default it will take the version as version tag as latest. Now I given the version, that's the reason it is taking 22.04 and it is inside the container. I will just execute apt update. Okay, I told you, right, VM and container both are same. Okay, apt update, then after apt install Nginx. I will install some basic software called as Nginx. What is this Nginx? Ignore. Our focus was to create a container from image. Sorry, for create a image from a container. Apt install Nginx -y. Okay, then after service Nginx start, right? Service Nginx start. Okay, starting Nginx. Now I will exit. Okay, docker image ls is the command to see the list of images. Okay, docker container ls is a command to see the list of containers. Now if you see, my container is not visible. I have exited that container, right? To see the all containers -a all ll. So to see the exited container minus all, right, about a minute ago. Okay, this is a container ID. So I told you, right, by using this container I will create a image. So to create a container, you need to use docker commit container ID. Okay, see the list of images. We have only two images. Docker, so commit container ID. Okay, now I will execute docker image ls, right? A new image 6 seconds ago created or not? So whenever you create a image from a container, you will get a image id, but you will not get a image name and tag. Okay, now let me go to next slide. Right, docker commit whatever then you want, you can, sorry, docker commit container name. Okay, whenever you issue docker image ls, you will get a image id, but you will not get a image name. You need to give the image name. Okay, docker image tag, image id and the image name. Okay, docker image, let me refresh, docker image ls. Okay, docker image tag, image id, image name. What name you want to give for that image id? I will give my nginx, my nginx. Now docker image ls. Okay, if you don't give tag, by default it will take the tag as latest, right? I got a name, right, my nginx tag. Before that I got only image id, no name and tag. If you want to give a name for your image, you need to use docker image tag, image id and the name. Okay, same thing he has done. So this approach creates images but no history of changes are available. So docker file approach, now you know how to create a image from a container. Now shall we learn how to create a image from a docker file? This is the approach. Just give me some time, I will attach my adapter, there is no charging. Okay, just a moment. Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, that's it. We will stop. Okay, just 2 minutes, we will stop. Docker file approach. Docker file approach is all about using instruction to inform Docker what needs to be done when creating the image. Starting the container, what are metadata about your image. So Docker file has instructions to containerize the application. So what is this Docker file, we will learn right from tomorrow. But today's focus was to create a image. Docker file can be written in any text file, but file name should be Docker file is most commonly used. Let's create a simple Docker file. Okay, from I've taken a Alpine image. I've in the cmd I've executed a command. I told you, right, Docker lifecycle depends upon the command. Now let's try to build image. Create a new folder and create a file with the name Docker file with the above content. Shall we do that? I will create a new folder. Nothing but in Linux world they will call it as a directory. To create a directory, mkdir demo. Okay, ls. So if you see, demo folder was created, nothing but directory. I will go inside this directory, change directory. Cd is a command to move from one folder to another folder. Cd demo, I'm going inside that folder. ls, there is nothing in this folder. I told you, right, you need to create a image using a docker file. Docker file is nothing but a text file. What is this docker file? In the interview if they ask, docker file is nothing but a text file. What we will be having inside the docker file? Inside the docker file we will be having a instructions. Okay, docker file name should be like this: dockerfile, capital D and remaining all small letters. Okay, whenever you vi docker file, nothing but it will go inside that file. How you will be having a text file in Windows? Here we will use vi editor. If you enter I, right, it will go to insert mode. Nothing but you can insert anything. I will insert from. Okay, if you want to create a image, you need to depend on some image itself. So from Alpine. Okay, if you don't give the tag, it will by default it will take the latest tag. Let me give the latest itself. In the cmd bracket, okay, let me give the same echo welcome to container world. Nothing but this is the basic Linux command. Welcome to Devops easy. You can give anything, okay? So if you want to see what is added inside the Docker file from outside, you can use cat command. Cat file name. So it will print the whatever added inside that file from as a output to your terminal. Right? Have you written from Alpine cmd echo welcome to DevOps easy. Okay. Now, so try to create a image. To create a image, this is a command. From a Docker file, if you want to create a image, what is the command? Docker image build -t. Nothing but what is the image name? Let me check what is the image name I have given here. Hello container dot. Hello container dot. Nothing but dot is nothing but in my current directory, in this my current folder, there is a Docker file is available. Go take that Docker file and create a image out of it. That's the meaning. Okay. Docker image ls. Docker image build -t hello container. Right, if you see my image hello container is created or not. Image id. Right, my hello container is created. So you will see 7 days ago. Ignore it. What is this 7 days ago? Nothing but this is the creation time of this Ubuntu image. Okay, you ignore about this. I will explain about this. Hello container tag image id. So our container, so our image is created. Okay, ls you can see the image name. So from this image I will create a container. Okay, Docker container on image name. Image name was hello container. Right, welcome to DevOps easy. Right, what are the cmd I have executed for my Docker file? Same command is executed, right? So I told you, right, Docker lifecycle depends, Docker container lifecycle depends upon the command. So now tell me how much time it will take to execute this command. Welcome to DevOps easy. Seconds, right? Now I will execute Docker container ls. Right, my container is not visible. -a. Right, this command is executed and the container was stopped and came to exited state. I told you, right, Docker container lifecycle depends upon the command. How much time it will take to execute this welcome to DevOps easy? It will take in seconds. So once the command is executed, container will be exited. So you need to give the command where your application should run 24/7. So you need to give the command carefully. What is this command? We will learn, right? So next, tomorrow we will take one Java application, Java code. Okay, Java application. We will containerize that Java application using a Docker file. Nothing but we will create our own Java application image from not tomorrow, that is on Monday. Okay, thank you. That's it for today. Today what you have learned? You learn how to create a image from a container. Yes, from a container how to create an image. From Docker file how to create a container. This is the real time approach. What are the steps to install, right? With what are the images we have used? Everything was provided as a class notes. Your focus was to get a job. You need to practice a lot. I am utilizing my time to provide this notes. You don't prepare any class notes. Already notes is available. You just practice, 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 practice. Your focus should be practice. Don't write a class notes and all. Don't while right while watching my class daily, right? Listen the concepts. Try to understand. Don't write any notes. I am providing the notes, right? If you want to prepare your own notes, first practice, then prepare if you want. Everything, what are the commands we are executing, everything was provided. You no need to go through recording as well. By watching recording, time will be wasted. First time or second time you watch the recording, right? Third time you can directly come to this and you can practice everything. Okay, next step, containers the Java application. Next steps also every class notes was provided. And this repository is a private. Okay, this is the private one. It will be access, you will get an access once you enroll, you will get an access. For Docker there is a class notes, for Kubernetes there is a class notes, for every tool there is a class notes. Okay, so if you see there is a project folder, we will discuss project as well, don't worry. First learn the tool, then we can do the projects. Let me stop the recording. As you know, okay, github.com/devopscg. This is my Git repository where you will find class